Okay, I think I've tried to send the link um, to one or two so that you guys can come in. So I'll just wait for some few minutes and see how I can connect with you guys. But it's time to discuss biology. Let's discuss biology. Biology. I don't know the misconceptions that you guys must have heard as far as biology is concerned. But biology is one of the most easiest, beautiful subjects that anybody can learn. Uh, because biology has to do with life, and day-to-day activities, the things that you see every day. So we'll just be discussing biology. We'll just be chatting biology. We'll just be having conversations with biology in a very, very simple and easy way. But at the same time, those conversations will be centered around past questions, WAEC, past questions, NECO, past questions, JAM, past questions, post-UME, past questions, Cambridge. We've had this experience for years, so we know what to do. For those that know me very well, we have our results, we have a proof, we have, our testimony, we have results, you know. This current WAEC, that came out, is all A1, 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 A1 everywhere in biology. B2, B3, you hardly see anybody with C. Because over the years, we've been able to master the craft, be able to master how things, be able to master the nitty-gritty, able to master how the thing is working. So we will deliver any day, anytime. It's just the same strategy. And the beautiful part of it is that curriculum remains the same. I remember the last time I went for coordination, West Africa Examination Council coordination. Everything still remains the same. Nothing has changed, So the same strategy that have worked for me for over 30 years. Sorry, over 13 years. The same strategy that have worked for me for over 13 years, I believe we definitely, that's professionally being on this business. I strongly believe that if I try it on you guys, if I connect it with you guys, definitely you're going to produce the same results. So I'm just trying to wait to see if I can get at least 10 persons in class. So I will just start, because my kind of class is interactive. It's not a kind of class that you just come, talk, and go. I would like to get some feedback, some response from you guys. So the first question I really want to ask is, for those that will be coming in or for those that are in already, I want you to tell me, I'm seeing Osamude Ame Miracle. Okay, nice one. Nice one. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me know if you can hear me very well. Tell me what you think I should do. Should I increase my voice? Because actually this is going to be an introductory class. Like, I don't want to introduce and craft out a plan on what we want to do as far as this conversation is concerned, as far as discussing biology, before you guys will resume in September. So if you can hear me very well, can you just let me know? Then that's one. Then the question I'm going to ask, I really want at least 10 persons to be in the house. That will boost my morale, to be able to kickstart properly. But is my audio good? Can you hear me very well? Miracle, can you hear me very well? Is my sound okay? I'm waiting for your response. Is my sound okay? Can you hear me? I am waiting for your response. Can you hear me properly? Is Miracle there? I see somebody that just came in and left at the same time. Let's discuss biology with Uncle Ola, the one and only. Miracle, is my sound okay? Can you hear me properly? Okay. Erosa, nice one. Okay, I'm just waiting to have at least 10 persons in the house. I'm just waiting to have at least 10 persons in the house so that we can kickstart this thing properly. I'm just trying to buy time a little bit to see how, if we can have at least 10 persons in the house. Then please share it, put it on your status, share those links, bring in more people into the house so that we can have a very, very yes. I want you to share those links, share it, let people come in. Yeah, Rafa is in the house. Nice one. Share those links. Let them come in. Let them come in. Let them come in. Coming into the biology room. The first question I'm going to ask you guys is, what is your perspective about biology? As in, when you have studied biology now for the past 2 years, what is your perspective? What is, apart from you? I know most of you here can read. You guys are good. You can read. You can deliver. But what is that? When you hear biology, what is that thing that comes to your mind? What is it challenge? Is it easy? Is it, oh, I have a good teacher? Is it, what is, when you have to do, oh, I'm going to write biology exam, or they pair biology with another subject? How do you handle biology? It is based on what is in your mind, the way you see the subject. So I want you to just write in the comment section, how do you see this subject? Yeah. Is it difficult? Is it hard? Yeah. So that's the first question I want to know. Is it difficult? Is it hard? Is it easy to comprehend? Can you relate it with your day-to-day life? What are the things, this topic that are easy for you? What are the topics that are hard, but you just have to cram to deliver so that you can still maintain your honorable status? Is it something that, for like I know, engineering students normally have issue with biology. Those people that love calculations, those further math students, they normally like running away from biology because of the fact that it is broad. So most engineering students don't like reading things that you have to read. They like to solve. I know that's another aspect of little command that has to do with the subject. But I still know some individuals, no matter the fact that they want to study engineering, they still like to do biology because it's very important for why you must do biology. Biology, like I always say, is the bridge between the life sciences and the engineering. Biology is the bridge. Is the one that is the bridge between those two extremes, between life sciences and the engineering. So biology is the connecting subject there, connecting the life sciences and the engineering subjects together. If you remove biology, that bridge is destroyed. It's either you stay in the life sciences or you stay in the engineering. Especially for those SS1 students. I believe they should be here now to hear this. Biology, that's why the reason why they need to take the subject very, very, very serious is because it is the bridge between the life sciences. When you say life sciences, you mean courses like dentistry, anything that has to do with the human body, human part, human system. We call it the life sciences. Then the parts that have to do with engineering, all those civil, electrical, building, this side. But you see, biology is the link between the life sciences and the engineering. So when you take biology out of it, you now have two extremes. On one side, biology, life sciences, the other side, engineering. But if you have biology there that is connecting the two extremes together, If there's opportunity, you can either go left or you go right. As long as you have biology, you can do either of the two extremes. Either you want to study any of the life courses on the life sciences, or you want to study engineering. I think this information will benefit the SS1 student coming into senior school. Those who are leaving GSS3 now to SS1, this information is very, very vital for you. Biology is a bridge. So as you're coming into SS1, you have this mentality that this is the bridge connecting life sciences and the engineering together for those science students. Then for those art students, you can take biology as the only science course. Because it will not be nice for you to just do all pure art without having at least biology there. Biology is very, very important. Even as an art student, you will see in your universities courses, you still find little of biology there. Even those people studying languages, like even English, you will still see biology. For those people that want to study English in university, you will see biology because they will teach you sound, they will teach you all those kind of things. So this class today is just an introductory class to introduce this new concept of biology to you. We're going to be having a conversation, and if possible, we have to move to the board, definitely. But in this class, I just want to introduce this class to you. After today, maybe hopefully in our next class, we'll have opportunity to have a board, and we'll start teaching properly. And everything I'm going to say today, I might repeat it again, having a board to be able to re-emphasize anything I'll be discussing today, especially for the sake of those people that are not aware that we'll be having this conversation today. And hopefully tomorrow is Saturday, we are planning on having this again tomorrow, 11 to 1 tomorrow. So hopefully in that tomorrow class, I think we should be on the board to be able to see the beauty about this subject. Biology is very simple. Somebody says it's easy. Also, I say it's easy. Raphael says it's confusing. It can be depending on depending on so many factors. Depending on so many factors. Somebody said is kind of easy though. Yeah, it's kind of easy. So that is kind. It means that there's still some great things that we need to clear off there. Okay, let me start since I have about 5 persons in the house right now. Now, biology. The word biology is not an English word. The word biology is not an English word. The word biology is actually a Greek word. Biology can actually be split into two, bio and logy. So bio there means life, while logy means study. It's actually a Greek word. So the meaning of bio is life. The meaning of logy is study. So when you put the two together, you have what we call life study. So biology is beautiful because it tends to look at life, and it's beautiful again because this life is what we have. So it's like biology is studying you. Biology is studying you. Yes, somebody said biology is the link to all subjects. Yeah, biology. I thank you for re-emphasizing that. So biology is the study of life, because bio means life and study. Logy means study. So when you put the two together, it's called life study. So the meaning of biology is life study. So when we want to add flesh to it, we now call it the study of life. Then the question will now be, what type of life? When I'm done with this concept, when I give you this concept now on biology, it's going to arrange your foundation about the subject. It's going to correct a lot of things, because I'm going to give you the concept of biology. I'm going to tell you what biology is actually all about, what biology is all about. So when you know what biology is all about, forget, you start building on this foundation, because most of the issue that we have in this subject is the foundation. The Holy Book said something now. He said, if the foundation be destroyed, he said, what can the righteous do? Nothing, I swear, nothing. So my job, number one job, goal, as far as organizing this is concerned, is to correct a lot of things. And how am I going to correct it? I have to go back to the foundation of the subject. So I'm going to correct whatsoever misconceptions that you might be having as far as the subject is concerned by going back to the foundation of the subject and clear off everything. We may like clear it, forget your interest and your zeal. You have a clarity when it comes to the subject, and I believe you're able to do well. Now let's go into it. Like I said, biology is the study of life, because bio means life and logy means study. So life study. Now the question would now be, what type of life? That's the next question. What type of life? What type of life do we need to study? We are here in biology. We try to study the two type of life: the plant life and the animal life. The plant life and the animal life. Now, because we say life, anything that have life definitely is referred to as living things. Whatsoever that have life is referred to as a living thing. So if an organism, either plant or animal, because they have life, we say they are living things. It's only living things that have life. Anything that is not living is dead. There's no life in it. So a living thing is as a result of life that organism is having. Now, when we use organism, it is a combination of both plant and animal. So anytime you hear organism, it's a combination of both plant and animal. So instead of saying plant life and animal life, you say plant and animal are living things. You say organisms that have life are living things. When we say organisms that have life are living things, we are saying plant and animal that have life are living things. So when you're using organisms, it's actually a combination of both plants and animals. So when you say organisms, it's a combination of plants and animals. Because one of the major challenge in studying biology is the biological terms that are involved. That's used to put a lot of students off when they want to study this subject. Every term has its own meaning, and you must understand the meaning of every term. For example, a teacher is using plant and animal at the same time using organisms. You must understand that organisms is a combination of both plant and what? Animals. So a lot of terms in biology, when we are teaching it, we must also allow you to understand those terms, because the understanding those terms gives you a better understanding of the subject or of the topic. So let's go back. We said biology is the study of life. What type of life? Plant life and animal life. But that's not all about biology. Biology is not just all about plants and animal. Why? Because plant and animal, they don't live in isolation. Remember, if I say organisms now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the combination of plant and what? Animal. So these organisms, they don't live in isolation. They live somewhere. They have habitats. You see another word again in biology, habitat. What is the meaning of habitat? The natural dwelling home, the natural dwelling place of an organism. The natural dwelling place, like you are in your house right now. That's every organism have their own house, they have where they live. So that place where they live is what we call habitats. So every organism have their own natural habitat, the natural dwelling home where they live. Now, so if you want to, biology is trying to study organisms in relation to their environment. So the study of biology is the study of life in relation to their environment, because these organisms, they don't live in what? Isolation. They live somewhere. So that's what biology is. That is the foundation of biology. Biology tends to study plants and animals in relation to their environment. So you cannot study plant and animal outside their environment. So that is why biology now tends to study living things and non-living things. The living things is the organisms, while the non-living things is the environment, the components that make up the environment. Biology want to study those things also, because those environments, those components of the environment, they have influence over the living organisms, because the living organisms cannot survive on their own, cannot survive in isolation. They need the non-living organisms for them to be able to survive. So biology tends to study living things and non-living things. The living things being the organisms that have life, which are plants and what? Animals. While the non-living things is the environment. Remember, and the environment is the sum total of both the, I want to use two biological terms now, of both the abiotic and the biotic. Environment is the sum total of both the biotic and the abiotic component. Now, what is the biotic? The biotic is the living part of the environment. I don't want to use another biological word, which is supposed to be ecosystem, but let me limit it here, environment, because I believe we can connect with environment more. The living part of the environment is what we call biotic, while the non-living part of the environment is what we call abiotic. So biology is not just trying to look at the living organisms alone. They also try to look at the non-living things, because both the living and the non-living things, they are in sync. They collabo. There's a collaboration between the non-living things and the living things. So you cannot study just the living things and leave out the non-living things. It's not possible. You must study the living things in relation to the non-living things. I'll give you an example. For example, you know, okay, I believe I'm dealing with those coming into SS1 too. Okay, let me give you an example. There's a term in biology called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which plants manufacture their own food using light. Plants manufacture their own food using light. We remember, plants can manufacture their own food. Animals cannot manufacture their own food. Now, plants manufacture this food using, remember, plant is living things, but plants now cannot manufacture that food without the non-living thing, which is what? Light. Without light, plants cannot manufacture food. Without light, we cannot have photosynthesis. And there are other means through which plants can manufacture food apart from photosynthesis. We have chemosynthesis. Those ones, that is food that is produced by those lower plants. But those lower plants cannot really produce food that will be enough for animals. So the major process through which plants manufacture food is through photosynthesis. It's through photosynthesis. Now, photo there means light. Light synthesis. The production of food using light. That's why photo there means light. So without light, it will be difficult for plants to manufacture food. In fact, without light, we cannot have what is called photosynthesis. Plants will not be able to manufacture their own food. And when we say this, remember, in biology, another thing I want you to understand about biology again is that there are always exceptions. But in biology, we take the dominant ones, the dominant information, higher above those exceptions. Yes. Somebody can say, I can drink 10 bottles of lacasera it will not do me anything. Fine, that can be true. But somebody will say, if I drink one, if I drink one, I will have issues because of different body chemistry and mechanism. You understand? So, but in biology, we tend to take the general norm higher than the exceptions. But in everything we teach in biology, there are always exceptions. That's another thing I want to put at the back of your mind. There are always what? Exceptions. I'll tell you a story of a woman that was having diabetes. And they took the woman to the hospital and, started using controlling, and she was giving, all the dietitians will have to draw out a food timetable and all that. Gradually, the sugar was now reducing. That the person was suffering from what we call hyperglycemia. Hyperglycemia is high level of glucose in the blood. SS3 students, get ready to hear that word in first term, hyperglycemia. So they were trying to control this grandma's high sugar, but they failed to go to do continuous checkup. So what happened was that it got to a point whereby the sugar came down, went beyond normal, and later the woman died of what we call hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia is lower sugar. Hyperglycemia is higher sugar. They were trying to save the woman from hyperglycemia, but the woman died of hypoglycemia. What's the irony of life? Do you understand that? So there are always exceptions when it comes to biology. But we biologists, we tend to dwell more on the one that is almost 98% information, or the 98% situation whereby 98% will occur and maybe only 2. Only 2 cannot determine against 98. So we tend to dwell on the 98 above the 2% exceptions that normally happen as far as biology is concerned. I want you to put that at the back of your mind too. So living things and non-living things is what we study in biology. So when you say biology, it's a life science, it's a life study of life. What type of life? Plant life and animal life. But I'm telling you now that it's not enough. Biology too want to study plants and animal in relation to their environment. That is where we now have living things and non-living things. So the living things now is not the plant and animal, while the non-living things is not the environment. And I'm also pushing to you now that both the living things and the non-living things, they need each other. None of them can live in isolation. The living things cannot survive without the non-living things. The non-living things cannot survive without what? Both of them need each other. I think you were taught when an animal will die, there are some nutrients that need to go back to the environment through the process of decomposition. I'm talking to SS2 students now. They are going to SS3. I believe you've been taught decomposition. If you confirm that, just can be putting that in comment section. Through the process of decomposition, we have what we call recycling in nature. If there is no decomposition, all elements will be exhausted. They will be used up by living organisms, and they will be exhausted because there is no mechanism through which we send those elements back to the environment. That's what we call nutrient cycling. As the new living organisms are taking this element, you will use it. After using it, they will still, through the process of decomposition, still send it back again to the environment. What is decomposition? Who know that? You can put that in the comment section. The breaking down of dead, decaying organic matter so that the nutrients in them can be released back to the environment. In order to maintain, in order to create a balance in the elements within the atmosphere or within the environment. Okay. So we now have living things and non-living things. And living things, they are plants and animal. While the non-living things, they are the biotic and the abiotic components that make up the ecosystem. So now the next question will now be, how do we recognize a living thing? How do we recognize a living thing? When we say a living thing, how do we say, oh, this is a living thing, or this is not a living thing? What are the things that we look forward to be able to say, oh, this is a living thing and this is not a living thing? And that is what we call the characteristics of living things, or features that makes an organism to be living and non-living. So you were taught, I believe you know what we call Mr. Niger DACL. I know you know Mr. Niger D. And you were taught that those that are coming to SS1 definitely know Mr. Niger D. But for those in senior, I don't think you should, I believe you must have learned beyond Mr. Niger D. I believe you know that now it's not just Mr. Niger D, it is Mr. Niger DACL, Mr. Niger DAL. D for death, A for adaptation, C for competition, and L for lifespan. I'll say that again. D for death, A for adaptation, C for competition, and L for lifespan. Yes, Mr. Niger DAL. D for death. So what we know is Mr. Niger D. And I believe everybody knows that. But as thank God for those people coming into SS, we are going to push it further from D to DAL. D for death, A for adaptation, C for competition, and L for lifespan. Like the question I normally ask, so Mr. Niger Deal, or Mr. Niger DAL is the everyone's trying to send me a message. I didn't get that message. Mr. Niger DAL is what we call characteristics of living things. That is the expressions of organisms that make us able to call them living things. The things that they express, their behavior, the things that they do, is what will make them to, what will make us to now say, oh, this thing is a living thing. Why? Because it can express one of these Mr. Niger DAL. Mr. M is for movement. The arrow there is for respiration. Or, yes, respiration. N is for nutrition. I is for irritability. It's either you call it irritability or you say sensitivity. Anyone is okay for that. So, I for irritability or sensitivity. G for growth. E for excretion. R for reproduction. D for death. A for adaptation. C for competition. And L for lifespan. This is what we call characteristics of living things. So when an organism expresses any of this, we say such an organism is a living thing. So when an organism cannot express any of this, we say such an organism is non-living thing. It's as simple as that. So if they ask you, how can you recognize a living thing? I can recognize a living thing by these characteristics. I think the SS1 assignment, only I'm already answering your assignments right now. So you can actually recognize a living thing by the characteristics that they express. Yes. And what are these characteristics? These characteristics is what we call Mr. Niger DAL, which is an acronym actually. It's an acronym. It's not a word. It's an acronym that we derive to make it easy for us. That's another thing again in biology. For you to be able to study biology effectively, you must read to a point whereby you're not going to develop your own acronym by yourself. Create your own acronym. It makes it easy for you to be able to study the subject. It helps you to summarize those broad notes and minimize it to a little words that you can use to reconnect those many words. You say, so it is not a must for a living thing to possess all the features of living things. Yes, it is not a must, but to some extent, they must show at least majority of them. To some extent, they must show. Because it's not all living organisms that can actually carry all these things I've mentioned. But to some extent, they have enough for them to be able to survive. They have enough of these features for them to be able to survive. I'll just quickly give you an example. Can plants carry out locomotion? Quickly respond and let me see that in comment section. Can plants carry out locomotion? Can plants carry out locomotion? I want you to respond to me. Okay, Raphael say yes. Who again? Can plants carry out locomotion? Can plants carry out locomotion? Raphael say yes, but it is restricted. Who again is there? I want yes or no. Can plants carry out locomotion? Can plants carry out locomotion? Who is there? Derite. Derite said yes.